Today, in a strongly worded statement, the Ministry of External Affairs came out through its spokesperson, the excellently worded Randhir Jaiswal, and we were forced to tell the Pakistanis. And in absolute terms, this is what we said, but the meat of it is we've told the Pakistanis to shut up. That's what we've told the Pakistanis to kindly shut up and stop making threatening noises on a daily basis, which is beyond irritating. Here is what we said.
We have seen reports regarding a continuing pattern of reckless, warmongering and hateful comments from Pakistani leadership against India. It is well known that modus operandi of the Pakistani leadership to whip up anti-India rhetoric time and again to hide their own failures. Pakistan would be well advised to temper its rhetoric, as any misadventure will have painful consequences, as was demonstrated recently.
Look at the choice of words of the MEA. Pakistan would be well advised to temper its rhetoric, as any misadventure by Pakistan will have painful consequences, as was demonstrated recently. And now the Pakistanis know what we are talking about, because we know how to hit from Rawalkot to Rawalpindi. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing is to execute and act, not to threaten. I'll play two sound bites. Yesterday we had a great officer of the greatest army in the world, the Indian Army. He was here in the studios of Republic Media Network. His name is Lieutenant General Bhuvana Krishnan, fantastic officer. He's been the head of Strike Corps. He's presently the Quartermaster General of the Indian Army, which means that if the Indian Army moves in a war situation from logistics to everything, he'll have a key role, one of the top 5 or 6 officers of the Indian Army. And he spoke yesterday in a very measured tone. One of the people in the audience at the Nationalist Collective asked the Lieutenant General a question, a serving Lieutenant General. Look, when I play the next 2 sound bites, first Bilawal Bhutto, screaming, an Ozempic-laden hyperbole of Bilawal Bhutto on the one side, and the statesmanlike and steely warning of the Lieutenant General on the other when he says, we'll let our weapons do the talking. I'll play these 2 sound bites and then we'll take it forward.
और अगर ये हमें मजबूर करते हैं, पाकिस्तान ने ये जंग नहीं छेड़ा था, हम हमेशा अमन के बारे में बात करते हैं, जहां दुनिया भर में पाकिस्तान के सफ़ीर पहुंचे, नुमाइंदे पहुंचे, हमने अमन की बात की, भारत ने जंग की बात की, लेकिन अगर जंग छेड़ा गया है तो हम शाह अब्दुल लतीफ़ बिठाए की धरती से मोदी सरकार को बताना चाहेंगे कि हम पीछे नहीं हटते, हम झुकते ही नहीं हैं। तो अगर आप सिंधु की तरफ इस किस्म की हमला के बारे में सोचेंगे तो फिर पाकिस्तान के हर सूबे के अवाम आपका मुकाबला करने के लिए तैयार है, और ये ऐसे जंग है जो आप ज़रूर हारेंगे।
We are determined to defend our nation to the hilt should anyone dare cast an evil eye on us. Operation Sindoor is a fine example of this commitment. I think it's better to hold one's rhetoric when you are talking about other nations. And I think the statements made were in bad taste. And the only thing we would assure the nation is that the Indian Army would make its weapons talk when the time comes.
The Pakistanis are appearing to be threatened. There are about 14 to 15 random statements from their leaders every day, saying that should India strike us again, we'll do this and do that. We've not even lifted a finger yet, which means that somewhere they feel and they know, and we know there will be a Operation Sindoor Part 2. It's only a question of time. And the second is there's an extreme sense of fear, because this is also happening at a time when their economy has tanked by 24% and there isn't enough water for their crops because of the fact that we've turned down the taps a little bit as far as water supply from the Indus rivers is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, the tone and tonality in which the Pakistanis and Indians speak is also very different. Here is a comparison of sound bites of Shehbaz Sharif and our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Please take a look.
मैं ये बताना चाहता हूँ आज दुश्मन को कि अगर तुम हमारा पानी बंद करने की धमकी देते हो तो ये बात जहन में रखना कि पाकिस्तान की एक बूंद भी तुम पाकिस्तान से छीन नहीं सकते। उस खुदाए बुजुर्गों बरतर की कसम है कि अगर तुमने ये हरकत की तो दोबारा तुम्हें वो सबक सिखाएंगे कि तुम कानों को हाथ लगाओगे पाकिस्तान का तुम कभी भी।
पाकिस्तान भी भली भांति जान गया है कि अगर भविष्य में नौबत आई तो भारत आगे कुछ भी कर सकता है और इसलिए मैं फिर से लोकतंत्र के इस मंदिर में दोहराना चाहता हूं, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर जारी है। पाकिस्तान ने दुस्साहस की अगर कल्पना की तो उसे करारा जवाब दिया जाएगा।
And ladies and gentlemen, therefore, as the Indian Army Lieutenant General said, we let our weapons do the talking. As the Prime Minister said, Operation Sindoor is still ongoing. And ongoing in a very steady sense. Today, why has the Ministry of External Affairs come out with such a clear and confident second warning to the Pakistanis? For a couple of reasons. One, Pakistan is getting too carried away with ostensible support from Trump. That's not going to help them in any conflict or war situation. Secondly, we are very steadily engaged with the Chinese. We've increased trade, and therefore there are bridges built which are built on trade, which will extend into other geostrategic areas. Besides which, we have renewed the S-400 maintenance and operations contract. We have shown interest in buying the Sukhoi 57 and not the F-35 from the Americans. The DAC has approved defense procurement worth 67,000 crores recently, only to strengthen our border security. And you may not have noticed it, but our drone and missile capability has become very strong. Drone and missile strikes have killed 3 Ulfa leaders in Myanmar recently. Though the Indian Army has denied the role, it's speculated. We have successfully tested the Prithvi 2, the Agni 1 ballistic missile of Odisha. We all saw the pictures of that. And the upcoming Tejas Mk2 light combat aircraft is set to give a very significant boost to the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, and the country's military might. But more importantly than everything, we are very, very closely involved in rebuilding and improving the theaterization of war scheme in which all the forces work together to deal a very bloody blow to the enemy. This is not talk, ladies and gentlemen. This is action. This is execution. This is hard work. This is operational efficiency. We are not making bombastic statements, but we are very clear of the direction in which we are taking. And on the eve of Independence Day, let me tell you what that direction is. First of all, let's be very proud this Independence Day, because this Independence Day comes after the success of Operation Sindoor. Ladies and gentlemen, I can safely make a prediction. Operation Sindoor is not just on. We are absolutely sure that if and when the need arises, though the scale of our response may vary, once we have said every terrorist threat, every terrorist action will invite a reaction from us, and we've said so officially, we have explored and opened up all military options ahead of ourselves in terms of attacking Pakistan, and we've shown abundant clarity of our intent during the surgical strikes. And now, during what happened during Operation Sindoor, I have no doubt that not only if required will military action be taken, but the next round of military action, when it's taken and not if it's taken, will lead to a resolution that Pakistan should shudder to even imagine.